I am the king and will not be. I am the king and will not be the king and will not.
Hey, what is up guys, Epic Pokemon TCG here, and we are back with another set review video. And today I'm going to be taking a look at Fates Collide, the new set coming out, and I'm going to be going to a pre-release here, not this weekend, but the upcoming weekend after that. So I figured I would go ahead and take a look at some of the cards in this set that stand out for me. And if you guys would like to check out the set list, it will be down in the description below. So without any further ado guys, we're going to get into some cards that I feel like stand out in here. So we're just gonna gotta go down the list here, and let's see. So we're gonna take a look at Delphox here first. So here is a picture of Delphox, and of course the break. So if you play it, it'll look something like this. But anyway, the regular Delphox, Flickering Flame does 40 damage, and your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. And then Psycho Storm, 20 times damage. This attack does 20 damage times the number of energy attached to all Pokemon, both yours and your opponent. So if you can get this set up, and there's a bunch of energy out on the field, I guess this would be pretty good. Personally, I feel like maybe the regular X and Y Delphox is better still. That's just my opinion. But we're going to take a look at the break now. And of course, Delphox retains the attacks, abilities, weakness, resistance, and retreat costs of its previous evolution. It has the ability Flare Watch, which once during your turn before you attack, you may search your deck for a fire energy and attach it to one of your Pokemon, and then shuffle your deck afterwards. Now, I feel like really this is too slow. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like, you're basically trying to set up a stage 3 when you think about it. Of course, yeah, you have Wally, you have Rare Candy and everything, but still, I feel like in the current format, this wouldn't be able to do damage fast enough. I mean, even if you did play the other Delphox, it just really depends. I mean, if you can get it set up and you can get it consistently going, I feel like it would be good, but for the most part, I just kind of feel like Delphox is going to be way too slow to keep up in the format. But it would be definitely a fun deck to try out and just kind of mess around with. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at the fossil cards. So we got Ammonite, Amistar, and of course we have Amistar Break. So if you played it, it would look something like this. If I can get it going. There we go. So yeah, it would look something like that. Now we're going to take a look at regular Ammonite. Of course, it just has Water Gun for 30, and then Amistar, Restoration Beam. Once during your turn before you attack, you may search your deck for a restored Pokemon, put it on your bench, and shuffle your deck afterward. I feel like the fossils are really hard to get out. I don't feel like they're consistent enough to get out, which is very, very disappointing. But I feel like if you're able to Archie this on the field, that would be pretty sweet. And then, of course, we're going to take a look at the break. The break is probably like the hardest thing I could ever think of to get out, because you have to restore it, Archie it, or something like that, and then evolve, and it's just going to be one big pain. But Amistar Break actually is not too terrible. Once during your turn before you attack, you may choose one of your opponent's benched EX, switch it with his or her active. And I think there's an Aerodactyl in this set that does a pretty decent amount of damage. I mean, really, it's just kind of like a catcher to bring up stuff, or a Lysander, whichever one you want to think about. But this is actually not that bad. The problem with that is getting it out. That's what makes it bad, unfortunately. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at a card that actually does have it means a lot to me, because Glaceon was my first ever attacker when I got into Pokemon. So I'm actually kind of excited for this, but at the same time, I'm kind of dreading it because of Jolteon EX being out. And this is an obvious combination for the two. But Glaceon has an attack called Second Bite, 20 plus damage. This attack does 10 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. Now, this is not going to be the attack you're going to be doing. You're actually going to be doing Crystal Ray, which does 70 damage during your opponent's next turn. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by evolved Pokemon. So really, it just kind of depends on what you're going against and what specific matchup. Jolteon, of course, is for non-evolved Pokemon, and Glaceon is going to be for evolved. So I mean, pretty much you just have to pick the attacker you want to use that for that game, or just kind of time it. And honestly, it's just going to be really annoying to go against this deck. I feel like Energy Disruption, of course, will be the killer of this deck, because if you can stop them from doing their attacks, obviously. But for the most part, it's going to be very annoying to go up against this and Jolteon, so I'm not looking forward to that. So I'm going down the list a little bit here. This is actually a really interesting card. I like it. You can use this ability if you have a stating card in play. As long as this Pokemon is in play, your opponent can't attach any special energy cards from his or her hand. This is very, very good. Gets a lot of different decks because a lot of different decks really rely on DCEs and such. Specifically, Night March just kind of comes into mind whenever I took a look at this card. Excuse me. Really, I mean, it's just a really interesting tech and something that's pretty sweet. So I figured I would take a look at that. And of course we have Rotom. Rotom's really interesting. I'll show you guys the picture here. But energy draw, search your deck for a basic energy attached to this Pokemon, but the Plasmagic move 2 damage counters from each of your opponent with damage counters on them to your opponent's active Pokemon. So if you're going to get something like maybe Trevenant, or you're going to get something that like does like a lot of spread damage or something like that, this would be pretty cool. I thought it was kind of an interesting card. Next up we're going to take a look at Alakazam and Mega Alakazam. Pretty cool. Really happy that Alakazam is finally getting a card. I've been saying this for the longest time, that Alakazam really needs a Mega because it's one of the coolest Pokemon in my opinion. But regular Alakazam has the ability Spoon Bending. When this Pokemon evolves into Mega Alakazam EX, you may place 2 damage counters on your opponent's active and 3 damage counters on one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. That is insane. And then Suppression, place 3 damage counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon that has any energy attached to it. Now, I don't really know. I might be wrong, but I think that this is the only ability right now that like kind of just triggers whenever you Mega Evolve. I might be wrong. I might not be thinking about everything, but I think this is the first card that's done that. And I think I just bumped my mic, so if I did that, I'm sorry. And next up, of course, the Mega. Zen Force, 10 plus damage. This attack does 10 damage plus 30 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. So immediately, this kind of comes like straight to my head that Alakazam Bats is going to be a thing. And of course you can play like Wobbuffet in it too, that actually does like honestly the same thing. But I think Alakazam Bats is going to be a very fun deck to try out. I feel like you're going to be doing a ton of damage, and you can really abuse Dimension Valley, making these attacks only cost 1 psychic energy, and that is absolutely insane. If you're able to rack up damage early enough, then you're going to be pretty good. Maybe. I mean, just really, it depends on how it's going to be built. It depends on if you're able to get it consistent enough to where it'll be able to do damage quick enough. Here. Next up is a card that a lot of people are just kind of really dreading because they're like, oh great, Night March is getting something else to make it even more retarded. So, it has an ability, this Mew has an ability called Beginning Memories. This Pokemon can use the attack of each of your basic Pokemon in play. You still need the necessary energy, but you're getting a Pokemon that you won't be losing a Night Marcher basically, and you're just kind of getting another attacker to use. And this can abuse Dimension Valley too, so you can like set out Joltik and you can attack for 1 energy and you don't have to spend a DCE, so that's something definitely to keep in mind. If you like, I think did I say you had that Dimension Valley out, or whatever the stadium's called? I don't even know if that's like the right thing. Am I saying the right thing? I can't even remember if I'm saying the right name. I've probably done that, but it's whatever. Okay, so let's see. But yeah, for the most part, that's going to make Night March a little more ridiculous. Let's see. Next up, we're going to take a look at Marowak. This is a card that a lot of people are excited about because it's basically just kind of stops Toad, and really it just kind of says it right there, like, we're sorry about Toad. But you and your hand are not affected by the effects of your opponent's Pokemon's attacks. And so pretty much, like, I think it's really like Giratina and Seismitoad are like the 2 main attackers that come to mind whenever I think about this. And I thought this was called Boner Ring or something like that because I'm dyslexic, and I was like laughing really hard when I was going through this earlier. So yeah, I'm really glad I like read that again. But pretty much this is kind of like the Pokemon I was taking a look at here earlier. This one right here, really just to kind of sit on your bench and just kind of take a look at. Really, like, I was kind of thinking about like maybe like this. Whoop, kind of went past it. This would be really cool with something like Vespiquen if you're just kind of like loading up a bunch of techs and stuff like that into one deck that you can just battle compress your way depending on what matchup you're in. Because Marowak isn't going to be helpful in every single matchup, honestly. But that'd be kind of cool. I mean, really, like, this set's opening up a lot of like different things, and it's like affecting a lot of decks at once, and just kind of give like. I mean, it's really doing what a set needs to do. It's changing up the game and making you have to adapt to each set coming out. And I feel like this one, you know, with the special energy block and the Marowak and everything, is pretty cool. But like I said, I really see like this stuff probably being good in maybe Vespiquen or something like that. But at any time, guys, if I do misread these cards or something like that, sorry about that. I am dyslexic, so I will misread cards sometimes. We were going to take a look at Kabuto and Kabutops. I love Kabutops. It's like one of my favorite Pokemon. And of course, it is a restored Pokemon, so you can put this card on your bench only with the effect of Dome Fossil, kind of like Almanite with Helix Fossil. But this Pokemon has Mud Shot. And then Kabutops, stick to 50 damage heal from this Pokemon, the same amount of damage that this attack does to your opponent's active Pokemon. So if you put this with like Strong Energy, Muscle Band, Fighting Stadium, etc., just all the stuff really to increase a bunch of damage, and you probably put like Fighting Fury Belt on it to give it 190 HP, which would make it very hard to one-shot, and you can just kind of tank with Kabutops. That's something pretty cool. But again, you run into the problem of getting it out and being able to consistently keep it on the field, which really sucks. But you can max use it, so that's something definitely to look forward to. But I do see this card seeing some fun deck play, and I'll definitely be giving it a go and see if I can't get a fun list for it. So we're going to take a look at Regirock EX. That is an absolutely awesome picture, I think, because it's like 3D. It's like punching the card or whatever. But it has the ability called Regipower. Each of your fighting Pokemon does 10 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So you can actually play this in Kabutops, and you would be doing 60 damage and healing 60 damage. So that's kind of cool. A little example right there. And then I'm going to call this attack Mr. Flintstone. I can make your bedrock. Anyway, sorry to quote that terrible song. But it does 100 damage during your opponent's next turn. Any damage done to this Pokemon by attacks is reduced by 20. I really don't think this card is going to be attacking. It's more so just kind of sit on your bench and do the ability and letting your Pokemon hit a little harder. Now this is really funny. This card isn't like anything spectacular, but it's actually a shirt idea that I'm working on right now. And I got to thank my boy Billy for giving me the idea. We're trying to get shirts made that says I don't give a, and we're just going to have like a picture of a bunch of Wormadam at the bottom of it. And seeing that just kind of made me laugh a little bit. We're stupid, I know. So skipping here. I'm going to take a look at the Riolus just because there's actually a pretty good Lucario coming out. So there is the Riolus. And I think for that deck you'd probably want to play the Double Smash, maybe, because it does do 70 damage and doesn't require any specific type of energy. But it does 10 damage and flip 2 coins. It does 10, so I mean if you flip 2 coins and hit double hits, that's 20 damage obviously. And then Smash Punch 30 damage, flip a coin of tails. This attack does nothing, so I feel like this Riolu is like the better one of the two. And let's see here, where's the really good one? Yeah, here it is. So this card bank is coming out, and then there's this one as well. But we're going to take a look at this one first. As long as this Pokemon is in play, your opponent's basic energy can't be can't be discarded by the effects of your opponent's attacks, abilities, or trainers. So here we go again with even more just abilities that are kind of screwing over a lot of decks right now. Like really, I'm seeing a lot of stuff just kind of targeting Giratina Seismitoad. I feel like Giratina Seismitoad is going to run into a lot of problems if they go against these tech cards and everything, especially that one that denies special energy attachments, if I'm reading that correctly. But that's really good. And then, of course, we have the card bank right here that has Safeguard, which is to prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon by Pokemon EX. So it only does 40 damage, but if your opponent's not even able to attack you, then it doesn't really matter how much damage it does. I'm actually going to really quick go ahead and go right back up here to make sure I didn't misread that card. I'm hoping I didn't, because I'd have to restart this. You can use this ability if you have a stadium card in play. As long as this Pokemon is in play, your opponent can't attach any spell. Okay, yeah. So I did read that right. I was just wanting to make sure really quickly, because I do have a very popular reputation for misreading cards, especially when I'm recording for a long time. But Cardbank does have a break evolution, which is pretty cool. It's a big golden thing. But if you played it, it would look like this. Sorry I have to do this, because that's kind of cool. But anyway, so Cardbank break. Of course, it retains the abilities, weakness, resistance, and retreat cost. Diamond Gift, 20 damage attached to energy cards from your discard pile to one of your bench fighting Pokemon. So this is very, very good. It's energy acceleration slash. You can do damage to Pokemon EX, and you get to add like fighting energy or strong energy, muscle band, fighting stadium, fighting fairy belt, etc. To increase the damage a little bit more, so you can probably hit for about 60 damage or so, depending on what matchup you're going up against. If you're going against Manectric, you're of course going to be doing a lot of damage. But this is really cool because you're getting energy acceleration. If you're going against a deck that's highly, based around EXs, then they can't even attack you, so you can kind of just set up more card banks to attack or something like that, or just depending on what deck you're playing. And of course we have these Zygardes here, pretty sweet here. I think there's like one more. There is the EX. So we're gonna take a look at the regular one here. I don't know the difference between these. I covered it a while back and I can't remember it. But this Zygarde has Vigilance. Choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and switch it with his or her active. And then a Roar Break, 70 damage. Let me make sure, what is that? The Dark or Fairy Pokemon that was damaged by this attack can attack during your opponent's next turn. So if you attack Umbreon, give that as an example, or you attack Evital, or you maybe attack Gardevoir EX, they can attack next turn. But a lot of those decks do play a lot of switching cards and just ways to get around it, so nothing too special there. And then we're going to take a look at this Zygarde here next. Rumble, 30 damage. Your opponent's active can't retreat during your opponent's next turn. And then Geostrike, 120 damage. This attack does 10 damage to each of your bench Pokemon. So these two aren't really that spectacular. I really like the EX. I feel like the EX is really good, and it has like an absolutely amazing picture. It doesn't even look like a Pokemon. It looks like a Transformers, Power Ranger, Megazord thing, honestly. But it has Earth Pulse, 20 damage. This attack does 20 more damage if there is a Stadium card in play. And then Cell Storm, 60 damage, heal 30 from this Pokemon. And then of course it has Ground Force, which does 100 damage. So it's very similar to Lucario EX. Me personally, I like Lucario a little bit more, but I can definitely see how a lot of people would prefer this. Of course, it does have more HP, and really you're getting kind of the same benefits, except like they're different. Like Zygarde hits for 60, and then Ground Force hits for 100. And the first attack, I mean, they're pretty much identical in some ways as far as damage goes, but they just kind of do different things. But I feel like honestly you can kind of splash both of them into the same deck and it wouldn't make much of a difference. But Zygarde having the 190 HP and not being weak to Psychic makes it something you can definitely splash in maybe Lucario Bats, or like just a fighting base deck like Lucario, Howlucha, Garbodor, or something like that. So that'd be pretty cool. Next up, we're going to take a look at Umbreon EX here. And before I go into Umbreon, guys, I just want to say I hope you are having a wonderful day, and I appreciate you guys checking out the video. But it has Night Veil for 20 damage. Discard any number of cards from your hand, then draw an equal number of cards from your deck. So I don't really know what this would be good in. If this was Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, play it in Dark World, or you can play it in something else. I don't know. But I think that's a cost, so I don't think you'd be able to do that. But it has an attack called Endgame, 70 damage. If this damage knocks out your opponent's active Mega Pokemon, you take 2 additional prize cards. So let's say you're going against Mewtwo. We'll just say anything, really, because I was going to say Manectric, but you probably wouldn't really be doing any damage to Manectric unless you attacked it with Zoroark. But let's say you just have any Mega, it has 70 damage left. You Lysander it up, do this attack, you take 4 prizes, which is absolutely insane. Umbreon is absolutely insane, and I feel like it could definitely be really thrown into those Evital, Zoroark, Gallade decks, and just kind of, you can use it whenever you need to. And really the 70 damage is actually kind of solid, because if you do Muscle Band this, you're actually doing 90 damage, which is a magic number for a lot of matchups, so pretty good. Let's see. This Tyranitar, I'm going to take a look at it. It has an ability called Roar of Anger. You may use this ability when you play this card from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon. Attach as many Dark Energy cards from your discard pile to this Pokemon as prize cards your opponent has taken. So if your opponent is kicking the living piss out of you and they have 1 prize left, you can attach 5 Dark Energy. That's pretty good. And then Dark Mountain, 150 damage. Discard the top 2 cards of your deck. This attack does 50 damage, more for each supporter that you discard in this way. So you have the potential to do a lot of damage, but I don't feel like this is like really that good of a card. I feel like if you're a Tyranitar fan, really this is more of a collectible. Now I think, is there a Mandibuzz break? I can't remember if there's a Mandibuzz break. I can't remember. If there is, I feel really bad for skipping that. But we're going to take a look at Bronzong here, because we are getting a Bronzong break. As long as this Pokemon is in play, prevent all damage done to your bench Pokemon by your opponent's attacks. And then Guard Press, 60 damage during your opponent's next turn. Any damage done to this Pokemon by attacks is reduced by 20. And then we're going to take a look at Bronzong Break, and I got to do the really annoying thing that's probably pissing off a bunch of people in this video so far. So that's what it would look like whenever it was out. So, it has the attack Gold Rain. Discard as many metal energy attached to this Pokemon as you like. Then choose a number of your opponent's bench Pokemon equal to the number of energy you discard this way. and you may choose the same Pokemon multiple times. This attack does 20 damage to each of those Pokemon. So, let's say you have 5 energy out, and you choose one Pokemon. You're going to be doing like 150 damage to it. Not really the best card. I don't really think this card is going to see any play, unless like Gardevoir gets really big, then I could see it kind of working. But for the most part, I feel like the card I'm going to take a look at is a much superior metal attacker, and that is going to be Lucario. Lucario is actually really good. Has the attack Vacuum Wave, 50 damage. This attack's damage isn't affected by weakness or resistant. And then Fight Alone, 30 plus damage. If you have less Pokemon in play than your opponent, this attack does 60 more damage times the difference in the number of Pokemon you and your opponent have. And then there's a little example here. So if you have one Pokemon and your opponent has 6, this attack does 30 plus 60 times 5, and that'll equal 330 damage. So pretty much this deck kind of, like, really what you want to do is you just want to have maybe like 3 Pokemon out, tops, probably not even that, really, because I feel like you would probably need maybe a Bronzong and then like a Riolu to get ready to evolve, and then send up Bronzong with maybe a Floatstone, and then Metal Links, and then just kind of get like another Lucario ready. Really, you just want to maybe have 3 Pokemon out. But for the most part, this card is actually really good, and really, like, there is a way to counter it, and that's just don't play any Pokemon down. It only maxes out like 70 damage, and that's if they have a Muscle Band on it. So, but a lot of decks now actually have to have like a lot of Pokemon out to consistently run, so Lucario could definitely be a decent attacker. And we're going to take a look at Genesect EX. I'm so sorry about that. And has the ability Cassette Change. Once during your turn before you attack, you may return a Pokemon tool card attached to this Pokemon in your hand. And then it has Rapid Blaster, 100 damage. You may discard as many mental energy from this Pokemon as you like. This attack does 20 more damage for each mental energy discarded this way. So you have the potential to do about 160 damage if you don't have 4 energy on it. This is really good. I think, honestly, I prefer Dialga a little more than this card, but I can definitely see the uses for this card. We're going to be taking a look out at Mega Altaria. Regular Altaria is going to be down below here, and I'll get to that here in a second. And it has the attack Mist Purge, 100 damage. If this Pokemon has any special energy attached to it, this attack does 30 more damage, and then you heal 30 from each of your Pokemon. Now, I feel like Gardevoir is probably a better attacker. I feel like even Xerneas EX is a better attacker, but really just depends. And then we're going to take a look. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this thing's name because I always say it wrong. But it has the ability Twinkle Veil. As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, any damage done to your any damage done to your Pokemon by attacks reduced by 30. I am on the struggle bus right now. Good God. And then it has the attack Miracle Stage, 60 plus damage. If there is a Stadium card in play, this attack does 50 more damage. So if you have like a Fairy Garden in play, it's going to do 110 damage. But kind of like getting back to this Pokemon right here, Altaria, I feel like Florges might be a better attacker. Let's see. I'll show Kingdra. I'm not going to go over it because Kingdra, the picture looks amazing. Let's see. I'm going to take a look at Lugia here, because Lugia is one of the coolest legendary Pokemon, and Pokemon 2000 is like one of my favorite movies. So that's what it would look like if you were to have the break on it. It has the ability Pressure. When this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, damage done to this Pokemon by your opponent's attack is reduced by 20. And then Rising Burn, 60 plus damage if your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon EX. This attack does 60 more damage, so you'll be doing about 120 damage if you're attacking an EX. And then Lugia Break has Destructive Wave, 150 damage. Discard 2 energy cards attached to this Pokemon, or 2 energy attached to this Pokemon, excuse me. Lugia is It really sucks that there's like it's not that good. But of course, the past 2 Lugias we've gotten have been pretty good. So I'll let it slide. Plus the pictures are really cool. It's a golden Lugia. How can you not like that? It's a golden Lugia with lightning bolts. I didn't even realize that. But here is Altaria. We did just cover Mega Altaria. And I'm very sorry if I'm kind of struggling at this point. I don't know how long I'm recording. But yeah, it's been a long day. But Altaria has Powerful Gain, 30 plus damage. If this Pokemon recovered any HP during this turn, this attack does 60 more damage and remove 3 counters from 3. I think that's supposed to say 3 damage counters from this Pokemon. And then it has Shining Wind, 80 damage. This Pokemon has no weakness during your opponent's next turn. I am definitely struggling right now, and I'm really sorry about that. But Altaria is eh. I feel like Altaria and Mega Altaria are kind of eh. But we do have Audino and Mega Audino. Mega Audino looks like really creepy. That's cute looking, but that's just creepy. But Audino EX has Drain Slap, 20 damage, and then Heal 20 from this Pokemon. And then it has Do the Wave, 60 plus damage. This attack does 60 or 10 more damage for each of your bench Pokemon. So I feel like that'd be cool with Skyfield maybe, but then you just kind of have to think about it. Rayquaza would probably be a better option. And then we have Mega Audino, Magical Symphony, 110 damage. If you played a supporter card from your hand this turn, this attack does 50 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So this is okay. I mean, it's eh. But again, I kind of have to give it to Rayquaza for being the better attacker. But if you like Audino, definitely go for it, man, because it's not that bad. It's okay. It's pretty decent. Now we have the Spirit Links here. We have Alakazam Spirit Link. We have Altaria Spirit Link. And we have Audino Spirit Link. So there's those 3 cards. Go away, dang it. There we go. Alright, so we have Bent Spoon, attach a Pokemon tool cards. Okay. And prevent all effects of attacks except damage done to this Pokemon, or done to the Pokemon this card is attached to. And pretty much like, let's see. Really, it just negates effects. Like, I'm trying to give like a scenario, but there's so many. But you guys know what this is. It's kind of cool though. Yeah, it's cool looking. That's a cool picture. I'm very tired, so I'm probably like sounding really weird right now. But we have Chaos Tower, another 2-sided stadium, and this one's all about special conditions. Red side. This player's Pokemon cannot be asleep or paralyzed. So, I mean, really, that really affects Darkrai, I think, more than anything, and that's if you're not playing Turbo Darkrai. And then blue side, you can't be poisoned or confused. So I guess like poison, I guess Sceptile kind of comes to mind. And De-Evolution Spray is returning, and pretty much this is cool because you get Crawdont and just stuff that really, like, their abilities trigger whenever they evolve. So this kind of makes me think maybe like Bats and Alakazam kind of come to mind. That's pretty sweet. Went way past it. There we go. And then, of course, we have Dome Fossil, Kabuto. Look at the bottom 7 cards of your deck. You may reveal a Kabuto you find there, put it on your bench. And then Energy Pouch. I feel like this is really good. I feel like this would be something very good. And maybe Blastoise Keldeo for expanded. If the Pokemon this tool is attached to is knocked out by damage from your opponent's Pokemon attack, return all basic energy attached to that Pokemon for your discard pile to your hand. So if you have like 7 energy on a Keldeo and it gets knocked out with this card's on it, then you just get all that energy back. There might be a better way to... I haven't really ever played Blastoise Keldeo because I hate Archies. But that was just the idea that kind of came to mind. And we have Energy Reset. Return any number of energy cards that your Pokemon played to your hand. So this is like a really cool card because you just kind of get like to... Like if you had like an attachment that you just absolutely hate, and you get it back basically. And let's see... And this is very good against Slowking. I'm going to have to add that too. Of course, I'm pretty sure all Slowking decks played Seismitoad, but of course you have that Marowak for that. Fairy Trot, remove 5 counters from one of your Pokemon that has any Fairy energy attached to it. Honestly, Max Potion is probably a better route. Fairy Garden, getting reprinted. Fossil Excavation Kit. Search your deck for up to 2 Old Amber, Aerodactyl, Helix, Fossil Ammonite, or Dome Fossil Kabuto, and put them in your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. I think we have a Aerodactyl coming out, but for some reason it's not on this list. Unless I skimmed past it. I guess not, I don't know. But we have a pretty sweet Aerodactyl coming out. And then of course there is Helix Fossil. Last's recommendation, draw cards equal to the number of your opponent's bench basic Pokemon. This card's Mega Catcher, this card scared the hell out of me because I thought that like there was a new catcher coming out, and I was like, well, there goes the format. But basically it's just a catcher for Mega Pokemon. In's coming back. I am very dreading this card. I do not want this card back in standard format. I hate this card because it's just really annoying. And really, I feel like there's no point in rotations anymore because every event now that's like really big is expanded. And then there's that big reprint set where like Battle Compressor and all that stuff's coming back. And, you know, In's coming back. So I feel like they're really just reprinting everything. And I just kind of feel like at this point there's really no point at all in a rotation. But my little rant there is done. We, of course, have Old Amber Aerodactyl, Pokemon Fan Clubs getting reprinted. Power Memory. The Zygarde EX discard is attached. You can also use this text on his card. So this is actually something I was leaving out when I was talking about Zygarde. I'm lying. I completely forgot about it. But anyway. Cell Burn, 200 damage, discard 3 energy attached to this Pokemon. This is very similar to G-Booster. This is pretty much G-Booster for Zygarde in some ways. But this is really sweet. It just does 200 damage. So that's like really insane. But Random Receiver is coming back. There is Random Receiver. That is awesome. I went ahead and bought 7 of them last week for $1. Because, yeah, you boys like that. But anyway. Scorched Earth is getting a reprint. Shauna is getting a reprint. Team Rocket's Handiwork. This card's actually kind of neat. Flip 2 coins for each head. Discard 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck. It's alright. I mean, it's I would rather play Team Flare Grunt, but, you know, some people might like that. Ultra Ball is getting a reprint. DCE is getting a reprint. I really hope it looks like that because that is absolutely gorgeous. Strong Energy is getting a reprint. That's very awesome. Strong Energy is going to be staying around in the format for all you people who are going to be using Zygarde, even after the rotation. But here are the full arts. There is Glaceon full art, Alakazam full art. There is Mega Alakazam full art. That looks trippy as hell. Umbreon, it's pretty cool looking. I don't really know why it's like ass is pointing towards me, but you know, I don't judge. Genesect full art. And then we have Mega Altaria full art. Pretty cool. And then Kingdra EX. Did I miss something? Oh, wait, okay, I got you. Okay. So we're going to read Kingdra EX because I might have missed something. But it has Heavy Storm, 20 damage. Discard any stadium card in play. And then it has Dragon Tail, 60 plus damage. This attack does 30 more for each basic lightning energy attached to this Pokemon. So this could be cool in Manectric, I guess. Or it could maybe be cool in like Glaceon Jolteon, which would be a very bad idea. But I think this would be cool in Manectric, honestly, because you can Turbo Bolt 2 electric energy to it. But still 60 damage, and then you only get 30. That's still going to be low, but just an idea. So there is the full art Altaria EX. And I guess this is the troll card of the set, because really if you pull a full art and it's this, you're probably going to die a little inside. But there is the secret Alakazam EX. It has Umbreon in there in the background. Lugia's in the background too, so that's pretty cool. But that is all the cards I figured stood out in this little set of cards here. And I'm very sorry that I started getting on the hot struggle bus. I was on the front seat of that shit like at the end of this video. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, let me know what you're excited for down in the comment section below. Me personally, I think I'm really excited for Zygarde. And I'm very excited for multiple cards in this set, honestly. But if you guys enjoyed, just let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you guys would like to let me know what you got in the pre-releases, if you're attending any, go right ahead. But you guys are amazing. I love you. And this is Epic Pokemon TCG, signing out.